So that's that. We now find ourselves in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup, where we're now set to play against Leicester City. Now, we have to thank Conor Gallagher for the last minute winner tonight. A part of me does think though, I wish I saw this finishing when it matters in the Carabao Cup final. I know I'm being cynical. I'm not going to lie, I'm still kind of feeling the pain from that defeat and that performance. But I guess on the other hand, you could see it as Conor Gallagher reacting to his misses by coming in big tonight and scoring the decisive goal to get us through, because the last thing we need right now is more negativity, right? I know the feeling and mood isn't amazing, but at least there's something small to take from this game, right? I guess, but honestly, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I still kind of feel like when I watch our games, it's always pros and cons, pros and cons. Do I feel like I'm seeing any sustained type of play or methodology? Absolutely not. When I see games like this tonight, I feel like we're solely dependent and reliant on the individuals. I think we saw that with the last minute goal where Enzo kind of just steamrolled up the field. Great pass to find Conor, and I think Conor did really well to take the ball out of his feet with his half turn, and he doesn't get enough credit for that takers that he has in this game, right? But, you know, outside of the moments, what is there in our system? What is there in our patterns of play? What is there in terms of organization, in terms of understanding? Most times when we create opportunities, it does feel like we have to improvise out our arse to try and find a moment in game. And I just think to myself, you know, it's basically March right now. What development has there been? Then I think about all the previous Chelsea managers that used to get tons of criticism. I'm looking at Mauricio Sarri, where a lot of the fan base had no patience for him. And I think when you look back in hindsight, maybe you'd be, you know, a lot more sympathetic towards him, because at least during this part of the season, we could see his ideas really start to develop. And you could tell that Sarri had the patience and stuck with this philosophy, and it helped us win the Europa League in the end, and we started to play some great football near the end. Even Frank Lampard, for, you know, all his mistakes at times, at least we knew how to score goals. There was some identity, at least when it came to breaking teams down and what he expected from the team. But when I see us play, I don't really see anything. What I'm seeing is just great individual performances and, you know, players having to be decisive in moments. And I just wish that was a bit different. I wish there was a balance of the quality plus the system. And I still feel like Pochettino isn't giving me much to think about, because I look at the second half against Leeds and they really dominated the ball and they were really pushing us back. And I think to myself, should a game against Leeds, and no disrespect to them because they came here tonight, they played some great football. I thought Archie Gray looked phenomenal, I'm not going to lie. They got some serious talents up front. I don't know, like, am I being the fool for thinking that maybe we should still have more control against a team like this in the Championship, where they shouldn't be scoring 2 goals against us? They shouldn't be creating so many chances against us, numerous good quality ones that they didn't convert. And in the end, we took advantage of them, you know, throwing men forwards, feeling confident that they could get a result in the game tonight. I know the players are tired after the FA Cup. I fully understand that. I do know that. And, you know, on one hand, it's nice to see that these guys still kept digging in right to the end. They didn't give up, even though there were times in the second half, especially when Leeds came back to make it 2-2, but we really dropped the intensity so much. And I was thinking to myself watching the TV, Poch, like, when are you going to make a sub? Like, you could have made one before the 60th minute. Yes, he probably knew, like, okay, during this time, this guy's going to come on to replace that guy. But show the in-game management, like, feel the team like you normally talk about, and make those reactions a bit sooner and a bit quicker, right? Because, you know, you play this game 10 times based on our level of performance today. Do we win this game? 9 out of 10 times. Let's keep things real. If we played this exact same performance again 10 more times, how often do we win this game? But I have to say, you guys, after a game like this, I don't leave this game feeling much confidence about what to expect in the future. And I'm going to say this, if Pochettino somehow turns things around, I'm going to hold my hands up. It's going to be a miracle, because I definitely didn't see it coming. I'm not saying that I'll be opposed to that. I'm not saying that I hate Pochettino. He's an enemy to me. Get this guy out. I'm not here to insult him. No, absolutely not. I've been sympathetic. I've understood context throughout the season. But I just think for myself right now, it's the fact that I'm just not seeing much of an evolution in ideas, game management, patterns of play, or anything in the team right now. And I think that is the biggest disappointment, because I don't know, after seeing so many results this season and how they've panned out, realistically, I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, after another like okayish mini spell, we end up losing games even more now. it's been the story of our season, right? And I think performances like this don't inspire that long-term confidence that I'm kind of hoping to see. Now, as I'm saying, a game like this, I can only talk in pros and cons. I can't just focus solely on the positives, which were player performances today from a few of them, or good individual moments, and just like completely dismiss the negatives. I feel like, this season's really opened my eyes up even more behind what's going on. But again, my main negative is no progression in ideas, no development of style, no patterns of play, no nothing. And I just think to myself, Porch, you had a pre-season. You had moments at the start of the season where you should have been implementing your main style and philosophy on this team. You shouldn't have reacted to the injuries where you're using centre-backs at left-back. We'll probably never ever see that again. And it brought no benefit to the team. And this is why this team still kind of looks quite disjointed. This is why they're still giving the ball away quite easily or making silly mistakes. Plays getting broken down. And this is why we still look porous at the back. There's been no improvement in one single aspect other than maybe we're scoring a few more goals compared to last season. But come on, last season was an absolute mess, right? But you know what? I can't just dismiss the positives today. We scored some great goals. I was happy that Nico scored. I was happy that Mudryk scored. And of course, Gallagher's goal was emphatic. It was a great winner. I really liked the move for Mudryk's goal, probably the best move of the game. Quite interesting seeing Mudryk playing more behind the striker at times. He had more license to operate, which I found the most interesting thing about this game. And a lot of times, Mudryk's great movement wasn't being found. There were some times where Nicholas Jackson should have had his head up, should have looked to find ways to play balls in behind a lot sooner. Is Nico still feeling fatigue? Maybe. He's the only fit striker we have right now, so it wouldn't surprise me. But outside of that, come on. You're still expecting quality in moments like that. And I don't know, Mudryk showed some nice threat in this game today, especially with his off-the-ball movement. Could we see something there? I really don't know, because he might even play on the left wing again next week or whatever. But at least for the context of this game, there was something there at least. And sorry, you guys, I feel like maybe I'm starting to get something now. I'm feeling quite nasally. My nose is fully blocked right now. Oh, absolute nightmare. I hate being ill. I'm like the biggest bitch boy when I'm ill. I just... flipping hell, man. But regardless, outside of that, I thought Caicedo, this guy is a sexy passer, right? Very sexy passer. That pass for the first goal, first time, the weight. I knew that Caicedo was a very good mover of the ball. He had a great sense of weight behind his passes. He opens up his body really well. He can play every type of pass he wants. And when I see how recently, in the past few games, we're seeing a bit of a creative license from Caicedo, where when it comes to playing that ball over the top or in behind, he's been showing that he has that in his game. And when I see things like this, my little theory that's buzzing off in my big old bean head is this why we don't want to give Gallagher a contract extension? Because we feel like maybe to maximize our investment in Caicedo, maybe he has to play a bit advanced. Maybe he has to be the Gallagher for the future, where he plays more box-to-box, which is something that he is very familiar with. And maybe that could mitigate some of his defensive lapses and maybe take away less pressure when it comes to his defensive game, which I think definitely could improve a lot more. Let's keep things real with you. But I think in terms of his passing, I think maybe Caicedo sums up this team perfectly, in the sense that he does some great things and he does some bad things. And I guess with the good things, there is something you can work with and build upon, right? But I liked what I saw from him. Some great energy, great tackles he won in midfields, and really kickstarted a lot of moves. So, Caicedo, considering that he played, I think the whole game against Liverpool, it was a great performance from him today. And yeah, I'm not going to take that away from him. Outside of that too, Enzo had some moments, but I think fatigue is definitely kicking in. And I thought Nicholas Jackson, he took his goal really well. No surprise that it's the right hand side again that's creating our best moments. He does show his inexperience at times. Moments where, for example, he could have maybe killed the game off by keeping the ball in the corner flag, right, instead of looking to find another goal scoring chance. I do think that they're the type of details that I would love to be worked upon during this stage of the season. I wish we had something behind our play and our mentality and our philosophy where we can work on those details and fine-tune them, right? So I guess it's no surprise to me why the inexperience at times is still going to show itself when it shouldn't. And I guess we got away with it because essentially, even though Leeds have their threat, We got some very exciting young talents. They are still a championship team, and realistically, maybe I'm sounding too mad, but I'm expecting us to beat them regardless. And if we didn't beat them today, wow, I don't even know what energy I'd have for this review right now. But at least we have something to keep our hopes alive. You know, Leicester City, if we beat them, hopefully you're thinking we do as another championship team. Thank God in the Cups, we've had some really good opposition to play against. We then have a semi-final and a potential final. And at least if there's one thing you're seeing from our game this season, it is translating a bit better when it comes to those knockout round games. Hopefully the team can bounce back from this. You know, I can imagine they're still feeling devastated, but it was a good reaction, especially the manner in which we were able to come back very late in the end to see ourselves through to the quarterfinals, and hopefully we take this confidence back into the league at least. And like I said, I'm always going to want us to win. I'm not one of those idiots that will be like, oh, you know, I'm happy to see us lose just because I'm proven right about Pochettino. No. I'm not that guy whatsoever. You know, if I'm investing time watching my team play on a weekly basis, I want that investment to pay off in wins and W's, trophies, points, etc. That will never be taken away. But as I said, if we somehow can salvage something from this season, I'm going to hold my hands up. I didn't see it coming whatsoever. But at least tonight, I saw that the players haven't down tools, and Pochettino was right when he said that the reaction from the boys today that he was seeing after the cup final was positive, and the fatigue Blues tonight was able to come through near the end and progress us through in the FA Cup. So my friends, I'm going to leave things there. Share your thoughts and opinions. I'm Nini FC. This is BlueLionsTV. I will see you guys tomorrow. Cool.